Hello everybody, I'm SJM, and as I journey into the between lands, I find myself making more derps in my recordings. About the 25-minute mark of the last episode negated the last 7 minutes or so, so we'll have to recap what I did in those last 7 minutes, and as well we'll talk about some of the mistakes that I made in the other episodes. So I did hint at these levers activating adjacent extractors, and they actually do. So if I flip this extractor here, or this lever here, not only is it going to activate this emitter here, it will activate this emitter here because it's technically touching. It doesn't look like it, but it is. And if you want proof, we can see that both of them start sending as soon as I turn that one on, even though this one here is off, which is supposed to be for this one only. So we'll have to come up with more clever ways to make sure that our levers aren't activating more than one at a time. So in the last episode, I had an extractor coming out of here, going into this side of this tank. And even though these pipes were disconnected, when I hit the lever that was on this one, it activated this extractor and this extractor. So I had the first metal that I cooked up in there. I forget whether it was octene or if it was the other one. The one that you use to blend into Dawnstone, but whatever one I had in there first ended up coming through both of these pipes. So this tank here, as well as this tank here, had that first liquid in it, and which is why this didn't work until I wrapped this around to the back tank to get the second liquid in to produce the Dawnstone. So moving forward, whatever you have to do, maybe put these levers on the top, and that way they're not activating each other. Not sure, but just have to make sure on that. The other thing I guess you could do is you could use buttons to give a redstone signal, but I don't know if that redstone signal pulse is going to be able to send like a full block's worth of liquid through these through the liquid extractors or not. But if you want to sit here and just constantly push a button to do that, then you don't have to make these rather expensive levers. But yeah, that's that. So what we missed at the end of the last episode was everything to do with the alchemy and getting it working there. So we will just go over. So I did, as an example, making the Caminite blend, because this is why I wanted to get it set up in the first place. So in the Caminite, I just needed a Dawnstone asbestos. So I made the asbestos, I made the pedestal, I put the asbestos on the pedestal, then we put the ashes that we need into the pedestal. So this recipe takes between 4 and 8 ash in the pedestal with your Dawnstone asbestos. So it could be 4, it could be 5, could be 6, could be 7, could be 8. So there's up to 5 different possibilities there. So say we take a wild guess and we guess at 6. And we put the 6 in there and we do the craft, we activate the beam cannon, and the recipe will fail if that was the wrong amount. And it will give us one of these alchemical wastes. The alchemical waste will tell you that you're wrong, obviously, because you don't get the product that you want, but it will also tell you how much ash you were off by in your calculation. So it would say off by 2. But does that mean that I need 4, or does that mean I need 8? Because we started with 6 and we were off by 2. You're not sure, so then you'd have to try, let's try 8 then. And if you tried 8 and it failed again, it would say off by 4, and then you would know that you needed 4. And that is actually in my seed the actual recipe. So all of these amounts of ash that you put in the pedestals is dependent on your game seed, so it will be different every time you play. So if you start another world, those values will change on how much ash that you need for these pedestals for the alchemical reactions. So I've got the beam cannon set up here going aimed at the exchange tablet, and now I have 2 pedestals because we're going to go on to the next recipe that we need, and I don't need the Dawnstone Aspectus anymore because we are looking to get the Ashen Fabric. So the Ashen Fabric alchemy recipe is 2 ash piles, 2 string, a shelf fungus as the catalyst, and then between 12 and 24 ash in the Simmerite Aspectus, and between 12 and 24 in the Gloom Silver Aspectus. Now there is a strategy to minimize the amount of ash that you're going to be using up, because this is going to start sucking up tons and tons of ash if you're going to be doing lots of these recipes and doing the experimentations. So you want to have the best way to minimize the amount of ash that you use. Also, a way to generate some ash. They give you 2 options in the quest book here. So there's this cinder plinth, which is basically just a furnace which burns things, anything that you have tons of extra of, like tons of swamp reeds, tons of pit stone from digging out areas down here to set up all this stuff. What have you, it will get you ash back in the end. Or the other option, which I personally think is better, is the Ashen Amulet. Basically, you put this amulet on, and then whatever you break while you have that amulet on in your bauble, no, I just threw it on the ground. In your amulet bauble slot, then that would actually give you ash instead of the block, just like that. That's really handy. Not only if you're down here digging up all of this pitstone to make yourself an area for your embers stuff, which I don't really recommend unless you get a spot that it's all cut off from everything, because you'll get creepy crawlies spawning down here on you all the time. Whereas up on the surface, it's not quite as bad. Here in the pitstone level, you can get those stalkers, which you saw in the last episode there, crawling along the walls to get you, which are a pain in the butt to fight. And you can also get the embers golems spawning down here as well, which are a pain in the butt because they don't take knockback damage, so they're a little bit trickier to fight. And they've got that ranged attack, which can also set you on fire. So the only thing you need to have down here in the pitstone level is the ember boar itself. So may as well just have all of this setup done somewhere else, on the surface, in your base, beside your base, wherever it's a little bit more convenient. That way the only time you ever have to come down here is to collect up some of the embers that you need to do your processes, and you don't have to listen to this guy chugging away all the time if you're in the same vicinity. And you kind of want to have an intermediary chest between your ember boar and your activator anyways, because the activator can't take the grit, and you don't want that plugging up your system because it won't go into the activator as far as I know. And you might want to save some of this crystals and shards for crafting anyways. Like the alchemy pedestal, it takes crystals to do the crafting. To make these aspectuses, you need the shards to do the crafting. So you're going to need some of those anyways, so you don't want to always be burning them and having them sitting in your activator all the time. Anyways, back to alchemy. We'll do this live on camera, so let's buckle up. We need the Simmerite and the Gloom Silver Aspectus to do this craft. Simmerite and Gloom Silver. and 12 to 24 each of the ashes in there. So it doesn't matter which one is which or where it is. And like you say, you can switch out whichever asbestos you want on top of them for whatever craft you want to do. It doesn't have to be specific for them. It might turn out better in the end if you have one for each of them, because eventually you're going to need all 5 anyways. Because some of these recipes do take all 5 of the asbestoses. So eventually you might, if you're going to be doing a lot of ember stuff, you're going to want to go there anyways. So the minimal numbers that we need in each of these is 12. So we're going to do 12 first. That way, if the recipe fails, it will tell us how much we're off by, but we'll know exactly how much we need to do the recipe, right? And we'll just set this up, and in the recipe, on the alchemy pedestal or on the exchange tablet itself, it does not matter which position these ones are in the table itself. It does matter which one you have as the catalyst. So the one in the middle does have to go in the middle on this guy. So I could put string here, I could put ash here. Nope, not in the middle, on the side, please. I could put ash on this side. Then I could put the string here, and then the shell fungus in the middle. So see how this is actually the orientation of the exchange tablet, because we can see the ash pointing upwards that way. But this doesn't even represent this, right? This has the 2 ash piles should actually be here and here, and the string here and here, but it won't matter. So we've got 12 each of those in there. So then we just have to, we've got the beam cannon all charged up. We just need to give it a redstone signal to go, and you can definitely save on a lever here because it just needs a quick pulse. Just like that. Word of warning, do not stand in the path of the beam cannon when you fire it off, because it will slaughter anything without armor. So it looks like that alchemy recipe went through and it failed just like we thought it would. In the last episode, when I had my pause toggled incorrectly for part of it, that's why you see me doing all the off-camera work and none of the on-camera work made it into the episode. But I ended up doing the recipe for the Caminite, and it was 4 to 8, so I started with 4, and it ended up being the correct recipe. So I didn't even get to show off this part of the figuring out how to do the embers activation. So, aha! Sirius is going to have to go and fix this up. So this should be Simmerite inaccuracy 4 and Gloom Silver inaccuracy 4. If those numbers weren't the same, I might not know which one is which. But because they're both 4, I know that we need 16 of each, right? Because 12 plus 4 is 16. So we'll just do 16 on each of these guys. There. Line up our recipe again. We'll even do it the right way this time. Like that, fire away. Oh, doesn't have enough juice. Actually, I got it set up wrong, and my hammer is upstairs. This can go in here, this can go in here. I have to go and get my hammer. I'm gonna make sure it's paused, and then I'll be back to finish this one up. Whee! Yes, we are unpaused. All right. So, oh, I got to haha, it happened. It happened live on camera. We turned one of my receptors into ash. It's a beautiful thing, isn't it? Hammer that there, attach it to this one here. Turn that one on to get some more juice back into the beam cannon. Doesn't have enough yet. There we go. Screenshot. And we should have 2 ashen fabric, because 16 was the number that we needed. Now, the one other thing that we definitely want to do is start a journal with these numbers written down somewhere. So I'm gonna do it in game, but you know, obviously if you've got a piece of paper handy for notes for this mod, then you can just do it, you know, off camera out of there. But I've got an extra black die kicking around from when I made a book earlier, so we can just do no, I need 1 of you. And do I have enough paper bits? I do. Oh, forgot about the dragonfly wing. Now I've got a book and quill. We can go and that's Dawnstone. And for ashen fabric, Simmerite and 16 gloom silver. And as you go through and do other recipes in the exchange tablet, and you figure out the numbers that you need, like some of these are less and less. It even tells you exactly how many you need for the Mirum on this one, but so on and so forth, right? There's tons of recipes in here, so you'll definitely want to have them written down somewhere that doesn't get lost. So I will keep mine down with all of my ember stuff. Now there was something that we could do with this to get our ash back. Okay, yes. So in the stamper, we need a flat stamp, which takes 8 camonite. And then we'd have to get the raw stamp, cook it up, get the regular stamp, and then we can get 1 ash pile back out of this alchemical waste. So that's not even worth it. This can just go into the garbage. We don't need it anymore. Ashen fabric can go there, ash can go there. I'll hold on to the string for now. Yeah, that wraps up this part of it. I'll have to make up a little bit more ashen fabric so that we can get one of these pieces. I think Yeah, we need 6 at minimum to get the ashen boots. Actually, we only need 3 to get the leggings, 4 to get the cloak, and 3 to get the goggles. And then you would need a silk bundle as well to get the goggles. 4, 6, 5, 4. No warning, just sneaking up on people like that? That's rude. Rude. So it's probably going to be a good idea to make the ashen set. I do have a better way to find middle gems now. You do need to make the lurker armor set to do that, but that's easy now that we've got the snippy snips. What are they? Runic shears. Now that we have the runic shears, the lurker skin isn't too hard to get anymore. So yeah, getting that, you can see the middle gems a lot better down in the water, and won't have to worry about these ones being used up. It'll make our spells a little bit more expensive to cast when we do use our staff for healing and such, but that's fine. That's not a huge deal, I don't think. Oh yes, and this one more grievance of mine with this Embers mod is when you have your shield in your hand and you right click on the melter, your shield ends up in there. So just be aware of that if you've got that. If you've got I don't even know if a bone or a metal shield would go in there as well. But yeah, you'd end up wasting a little bit of ember trying to burn it, or if you left it. I left mine in there for a long time. I don't think it ever ran out, but that's a thing there. Anyways, that's it for this short episode, just to finish off this Embers section. I don't know that I'm going to go for the Inflictor gems. Like, maybe one for physical damage would be okay. They're not hard to make. Dawnstone and Gloom Circle, or we've even got those already. Might be worth getting an Inflictor gem set up for doing the sludging. Because I'm not super scared about getting down to or going into the sludging, but I know that it's going to be a pain in the butt because there's some it's a maze-like thing, and I'm not looking forward to the parts with the moving walls. That's all I'm going to say about that until we experience it. But yeah, that's going to be it for this episode. I hope you all enjoyed, and we will see you in the next one.